From Dogecoin forming a very bullish pattern and whales buying the dips to some important data and updates, there is a lot happening right now, so let's talk about it. So the overall crypto market is still moving sideways, and we can see here that there are no signs of any significant momentum here. We can see here that Bitcoin is still moving around the 39K price level while altcoins are following it. Meanwhile, we can see here that there is still an extreme fear sentiment in the market, and it appears that investors are still uncertain as a result of the turbulence in the global financial markets. Numerous factors, ranging from the situation in Ukraine to the upcoming FOMC meeting and expectations of rate hikes, are keeping investors on the sidelines. Now, while things are not looking too good for cryptos, it appears that Dogecoin is going to move to the upside from here. So Dogecoin's price is indicating that a huge change is imminent from here. Moreover, some important on-chain indicators are also pointing to a similar outlook. So we know that Dogecoin has dropped roughly 83% from its all-time high and is currently hovering around 11 cents. From 29 September 2021 to date, Doge has set up 3 distinctive lower highs and lower lows. And connecting these points using trend lines is revealing the formation of a falling wedge pattern. So this technical formation is forecasting a 34% upswing determined by adding the distance between the first swing high and swing low to the breakout point. So assuming that the breakout occurs around 13 cents, Doge can hit the 17 cents price level. And if Doge manages to initiate this recovery, it would instill confidence among sideline buyers, and this development could serve as a major catalyst to trigger a bull rally. Meanwhile, Dogecoin's 1-hour active addresses index is supporting this bullish theory. We can see here that the number of active addresses surged from around 4.8K to over 100K in less than 12 hours. So this dramatic increase in the number of investors interacting with the Dogecoin blockchain implies that they are interested in Dogecoin at current prices. As a result, the bullish thesis benefits from the recent spike in market players interested in purchasing Dogecoin. But this is not it. There is another confirmation of this bullish thesis for Dogecoin. So we can see here that the whale transaction count, which tracks the number of transfers worth 100K or more, also saw a massive increase from 28 to 685. This metric serves as a proxy of the investment interest from high net worth investors and whales. So the 2,346% uptick indicates that whales are also looking to invest in Dogecoin. Market participants should also note that during uptrends, a large spike in whale transaction count coincides with local tops, and it can be used to identify trend changes. So this is now showing us that Dogecoin's price is now looking ready for a move higher from here. But there is more important data coming for Doge that is also indicating a bullish outlook for it. So a red candle looks to be forming for Dogecoin for the 5th consecutive month, and it means that Doge is now extending the bearish run. So a red candle implies that it is trading lower than the opening price recorded at the start of the month. This happened 4 months in a row in the case of Dogecoin, and it appears to be on track for a 5th one. However, it now appears that things are going to turn around from here. So on the monthly time frame, Dogecoin is approaching a crucial support level at which a turnaround might be possible. We can see here that the RSI indicator is referring to this, though hinting at further consolidation before a major price run. Moreover, Dogecoin's top holders appear to be scooping up tokens at a discount amid the present market volatility. Now, it might be worth noting that every market cycle has an accumulation phase during which prices flatten and contrarian investors see an opportunity to buy at a discount. When this market cycle is finished, the next one, the markup phase, begins. So this refers to a phase in which the market has been stable for a while and is beginning to move higher. As per data from Whale Stats, over the last 24 hours, the top 100 Dogecoin holders have increased their portfolios. We can see here that there is a 52% rise in the average Doge balance of this category of investor. Moreover, the average Doge value of their portfolio has also grown by about 51%. So this is clearly showing us that Dogecoin whales have started to increase their holdings, and they are aggressively buying the dips. Meanwhile, as per Into the Block data, Dogecoin's profitability is now sitting at 53%. So what it means is that more addresses are now expected to be beneficial to the network because holders are less inclined to sell to break even on their positions. So we have just seen some very important data for Dogecoin. All this data is clearly showing us that despite this current sluggish price movement, we can expect Dogecoin to explode in the coming days or weeks. And with that being said, let's come to Bitcoin for a minute. So Bitcoin is still moving around the 39K price regions, and it appears that it is struggling to find any pace from here. The overall sentiment is currently looking bearish for it because not only it is moving below its crucial moving averages, its MACD level is also sitting in the negative zone. However, there are some important data and updates that are showing us a very bullish long-term outlook for it. For example, we are now seeing that mainstream hedge funds have been loading up on Bitcoin in the past 4 months at an unprecedented rate. According to Wall Street Journal, Wall Street veterans including Tudor Investment Corporation and Brevin Howard Asset Administration have been silently expanding their balance sheets to crypto. In January, hedge fund Brevin Howard leaped into crypto under a new flagship vehicle called BH Digital. On the other hand, billionaire Paul Tudor Jones of Tudor Investment Corporation has been making sizable bets on digital assets as they increasingly stand out as a hedge against inflation. So this is bullish news for Bitcoin and cryptos, and this rising interest of hedge funds is actually pretty bullish for them over the long term. Meanwhile, more and more institutional investors are now investing in Bitcoin. And we are now seeing that Wall Street giant Morgan Stanley may now be the largest institutional holder of the world's biggest Bitcoin fund, the Grayscale Bitcoin Fund. Morgan Stanley Growth Portfolio, which in August of last year held 2.3 million shares, has nearly doubled its position to about 4.3 million. So this is not only showing us rising institutional investment in Bitcoin, but it is also showing us that major firms like Morgan Stanley are very much interested in it. And since Morgan Stanley is one of the leading investment firms, their interest in Bitcoin may inspire other institutional investors to follow suit. Now, another bullish thing for Bitcoin is that it has witnessed strong year-to-date returns. It has clearly outshined traditional hedges by rallying over 130% compared to gold's meager 4%. So what it means is that Bitcoin has evolved as a strong contender for an inflation hedge. We can see here that Bitcoin's inflation rate has gone down significantly since 2011. It declined to an impressive 1.7% and stood strong against the US dollar. We know that the inflation rate of the US dollar is continuing to soar, hitting 7.9% in February 2022. So this is now positioning Bitcoin as a potential defense against inflation, and it means that more and more investors are going to embrace it over the long term. And now, amid this rising inflation, a major institution appears to have invested about $1.1 billion in Bitcoin. According to Whale Alert, over the past 24 hours, several substantial chunks of Bitcoin, each transferring close to 10K Bitcoin, have been withdrawn from Coinbase Pro. The total amount of Bitcoin transferred to the anonymous wallet comprises over $1.1 billion. So judging by these 3 big transactions from Coinbase Pro to an anonymous Bitcoin wallet, some institutional entity may have made a huge purchase of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, famous commodity trader Peter Brandt has taken to Twitter to share some investment advice with Generation Z. While Brandt advised them to pick a degree in a field where one can easily secure a well-paying job and avoid student debt, he also touched on the topic of investment. And this is where he mentioned Bitcoin. Brandt believes that Generation Z should allocate most of their savings into Bitcoin, as well as to stocks of solid companies, and then just hold them. He also advised them to keep buying and hope for cheap prices. So what it means is that Peter Brandt is actually bullish on Bitcoin, and since he is a renowned investor, we may see some investors following his advice. Similarly, senior commodity strategist at Bloomberg, Mike McGlone, is also giving some advice to investors. He has urged investors of gold to diversify their portfolio to include Bitcoin in order to avoid suffering considerable losses in the long run. He believes that most money managers on the planet who have been holding gold forever are at greater risk if they do not have Bitcoin in that portfolio of gold. McGlone believes that gold investors should not put all their eggs in one basket as the global economy heads toward a deflationary recession. And now, let's come to Ethereum, as there is a massive update for it. So it appears that Ethereum is now on course to become deflationary as its burning rate is now gradually increasing. We can see here that so far, the Ethereum network has burned about 1.97 million ETH after a move implemented to reduce the high fees on the network. The burning mechanism that was introduced on August 5 last year is now putting about 2K coins out of circulation daily. So by continuous burning of Ethereum, it is becoming deflationary. And as supply is gradually decreasing on a daily basis, rising demand will help Ethereum's price to increase over the long term. And now coming back to Dogecoin, we have just seen that it is now making a very bullish formation. Moreover, we have seen some very important and very bullish data for it, and all of this is indicating that some major moves are now on cards for it. In any case, what are your thoughts on this? Where do you think Doge is heading from here? Let me know in the comments section below.